This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
When people are patriotic, we often ask questions about India and how is India doing, where is India's place in the world, and the one question that often comes up is India set to be a superpower? And often this is a question that gets a lot of people worked up. A lot of people are aggressively and passionately saying yes, of course India is. But it's unavoidable. India will become a superpower in a few years. Others think that no, India has huge problems. It may become a major power in its own region, but it may never reach superpower status. Tell me, sir, whereabouts in this scale of yes and no's are you?
Well, I'm an optimistic person and I tend to believe that India is going to be a superpower. However, for India to become a superpower, there's a lot more we need to do. And it's not going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years, but under a good leadership of our government and determination from the people and awareness and dedication to do better over a period of time will take us to that level.
Okay, so on so are you yes, no, maybe? Are you maybe?
I'm optimistic, so I would say yes, but it's not going to happen in the next 5 years.
Okay.
We need to wait for our chance, but at the same time, we need to work very hard.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt your meal.
Yeah.
Very very tasty looking meal, which maybe I'm going to get a few bites of later on. But food for thought.
Yeah.
Is India going to be a superpower? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, for sure. I would say Narendra Modi's recent visit to the countries, that will make difference. And but if you talk about India, there are children are malnourished, so that is the thing.
Yeah.
A lot.
So there's a concern.
There's a big concern out here. So you need to work on it a lot.
Okay. And you pointed out children being malnourished. Now, figures say that 47% of Indian children are malnourished, which is 1 in 2. I mean, India deals with a really big problem of poverty, which often, you look at the poverty statistics and you wonder that is this country really set to be a superpower? I mean, it may be a major power in its own region. What do you think, ma'am?
I definitely believe that we will become a superpower one day.
You're definite, you're sure?
I'm quite sure, but I'm not sure how long that will take. But I believe we need to...
on par with America or on par with what the Soviet Union
It will
was?
take time, definitely. But first of all, we need to believe we will be able to do it, because where there's a will, there's a way. So if you stop believing we won't be a superpower, we'll never be. So,
very good point, very good.
So let's start believing, and I have got tremendous faith in our youth. They have done there are lots of instances that have happened in the past few years where I believe the youth has got a lot of power, and if we are heading in the right direction, we will get there.
You will get there. Okay, well, lot of confidence there. What about you, sir? Before we were rolling, you were like, I'm slightly a fence sitter. I'm a maybe kind of candidate. Whereabouts are you on the scale of optimism?
Yeah, I think it's good to be optimistic, but I'm a bit pragmatic here. Superpower status cannot be defined purely based on GDP. So in that sense, I feel that India will definitely be the second largest economy by, say, 2030, 2035, next to China. But in terms of the social fabric of India, I think we still have a long way to go. There's high amount of poverty in India. As you said, there's a lot of malnutrition as well. So I think I'm looking at least 40, 50 years before we can reach to the status where US is at the moment.
Yeah.
So
do you think we'll get there ever?
We will, because there's no other choice. I mean, people will start believing that this is where we need to be. And people will start working towards it. So yes, global power in the next 20 years, yes. But superpower maybe another 40 years.
We'll have to wait. Okay. What about you, sir? Before we were rolling, as I threw the question, your pat came the reply from you, yes. Do you stand by that?
I definitely stand by that. You raised few concerns about the social fabric, the malnourished children, but looking at India in the past 10 years, the way we have come forward, it's phenomenal. Our GDP growth rate have been up there with China. I was recently reading some stats that inflation has been negative for the first time ever, which is phenomenal. You look at companies like Tata's and Reliance, they are making India proud. Reliance owns the biggest refinery in the world, Tatas, they have recently taken over Tetley tea, which was a hallmark of British tea. Then they have taken over Jaguar, Land Rover. So, what I'm trying to
You can see kind of Indians taking over some really iconic brands across the world. So I mean,
exactly. ONGC has been heavily investing outside India, purchasing assets. Companies like BP are investing in India. Make in India campaign has totally changed the game.
one big point that you think is going to really stop India in its tracks from any ambition of achieving, superpower or major power status?
Sure. For me, I think it's got to be infrastructure growth. I recently been to India. I've seen India infrastructure woes over the period of time.
Yeah.
The infrastructure growth needed at this point of time for India to grow
Yeah.
isn't as good as what it needs to be.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a major hurdle even going
Which
forward.
again, people say that could be an opportunity because you can have a investment of close to, I think, $800 billion. That's the sort of estimate, which will obviously kickstart a lot more, industry and all of that. But of course, it should be done, and it should
So
be
the
done.
point is the growth needs to be much faster now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the time for us to push for it and go ahead.
Okay. What about you, ma'am? One big problem, one big impediment you think that will stop India in its tracks?
Internal corruption.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I mean,
What we call goosekhori in India.
exactly. So we need to stop that completely.
Yeah.
Then it will make a hell lot of
You
difference.
think it will stop?
I think yes.
You
Yes.
think so? You're hopeful.
I am pretty hopeful. I hope it stops. So yeah.
Okay. Very, very good. What about you, ma'am? One
I
big
think
problem.
it's the attitude of the people कि यार इस देश का कुछ नहीं हो सकता. That has to change. Everyone has to believe that we can bring in the change. We can change it. We have got to be patient, and then that will take turn the things.
Very good attitude. What about you, sir?
I think India's social fabric is its strength, but at the same time, it's also a hurdle for development because then appeasement politics becomes more important. That takes priority over development agenda. And I think we need to get over this now. Casteism,
We've had enough of this.
we have had enough of this. So development has to be on the topmost agenda for the governments right now.
What about you, sir? One big problem.
It's hard to pinpoint because there's not one problem, and all these problems are interlinked somehow.
Let me change that around a bit. What do you think is successful, well-to-do NRIs living abroad? What do you think NRIs can do in taking India forward? One idea.
Invest in India, believe in India. Two things.
Are you into politics?
No, not at all.
I'm joking. So invest in India, believe in India. Fantastic. And before we wrap,
Don't cut your link with India. I mean, love your country, love your native country.
fantastic. Very, very good, warm, messages of patriotism. As I said, we're all in a patriotic mood. But before we wrap, I want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, if 1 means you're totally pessimistic that India, in desh ka kuch nahi ho sakta, as you said, and at 10 it is that you're 120% sure that India is going to be a superpower, whereabouts on the scale of optimism are all of you? Quickly, sir, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Right. I would say probably 8.
Eight?
8.
I'll stick with 10.
I'll stick with 10.
7.
7 as well.